times. Queer times. Queer times.
Kristen.
Hi, Harrison. Welcome to Queer Times. I'm
Hey,
Kristen
how's it
Becker.
going? I'm
It's
Harrison Fish.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you're out on the road.
On the road, currently in Boston, was in New York City last night, and was actually in New York City 3 hours ago, 3.5 hours ago.
Oh, damn.
On the big election day, the city was abuzz.
Yeah. I'm excited for Election Day. There's obviously a few really big things on the ballot that I'm really excited to see. As a new Californian, unfortunately not one who can vote in California, I'm excited to see the turnout for Prop 50 and what will happen
Explain
coming
Prop
from
50
that.
to me.
So Prop 50 is basically Governor Newsom's and the state of California's response to the gerrymandering happening in Republican states, specifically the gerrymandering happening in Texas, to basically their attempt to eliminate all Democratic seats in Congress in the state of Texas. And California's response to that, they did want to run it by their constituents. So today on the ballot is Proposition 50, which basically asks if you want the state to gerrymander.
And that is an important distinction, I feel like. I remember when we had talked about this when this first came up, and the idea that the state of California wouldn't just, the governor wouldn't say, yeah, we're doing this, or the elected officials wouldn't say, yeah, we're doing this. They'd say, hey, do y'all want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And then ask all of the residents if they want to do it. What is the feel since you've been out there? Is the general vibe they want to do it?
I do think so. I think it is going to pass by a majority that is more than what you would expect. Like, I don't think it splits party lines at this moment. I don't think it's Republicans versus Democrats per se. I think there are a lot of people in the state of California who want this to go through, whether they had voted Republican or Democrat in the past. And I think that's a sign. I guess we'll see when the final vote comes out, which I guess by the time anyone's listening to this, it will be out. But I guess it's all of these races are interesting to watch because it's a lot of people saying that this is a test of Trump's presidency. This is a litmus test for how people are feeling about Trump's presidency.
I definitely feel like that is the case for the New York City mayoral. And actually, obviously I'm in Massachusetts. There's really nothing in P-Town we don't have to vote for anything. So I could free to roam the country as I choose. Having been in New York, it does feel like this will be, and obviously New York is a very democratic place, but a good litmus test for whether the Democratic Party can, in fact, not shy away from progressive values, and whether or not standing by what many of us believe is the right way to treat people is electable, which is a fucking crazy thing to say, but is working for the people actually electable anymore in this current climate. And so I'm excited to see what happens.
I think the ideals that Zoran Mamdani is running on are really interesting because ever since 2016, we've been kind of told that these kind of policy positions running on them is very risky. In fact, it's like it seems to be what Janet Mills is running on in the state of Maine, in her Democratic primary.
Explain more. What do you mean?
I feel like Graham Plattner is very much representative of similar ideals to what Zoran Mamdani is running on. And then when Janet Mills entered the race, her case for herself was very much, I've proven that I can win a statewide election. She's done it twice as governor. And this isn't the moment to run these ideas that haven't been proven. This isn't the moment to push farther left. This is the moment to buckle down, be moderate.
Do all the same things we did that got us here. This is that moment.
I know, but it seems like when you look at candidates like Janet Mills, and maybe this has a bit to do with the support for Cuomo, I feel like there's really only two types of people who support someone like Janet Mills, and it's kind of my least favorite kind of person on the left, and I include liberals and even moderate Democrats in that as the left. The electorate that I feel like I am a part of, so many of them are like, well, I'm going to vote for this person because I think they have the best chance at beating this person. And I'm like, you're not a political pundit. You're not a strategist. You are a citizen. It's your job to vote for the person that you want to win.
They've been doing their independent research, Harrison.
Yeah, and I feel like they've drank the Kool-Aid of the DNC, which is like, oh no, we have to push more towards the middle to win. We have to be more moderate to win. Like, and I don't think that is a good plan.
And to that point, if not now, when?
Right.
What
Never.
do we
That's the
have?
whole point.
What do we have to lose?
Right.
In reality, like explain to me why it isn't. Why? Because things are shitty.
Mhm.
Well, losing if we don't shoot our shot right now and we lose a couple more seats, nothing's going to change,
Yeah.
right? Like
And
yeah. No, what were you gonna say?
I guess the perfect representation of that type of Democrat is the Democrat who went to the No King's Day protest with the sign, if Kamala had won, we'd be at brunch now. And I'm like, people still wouldn't be able to afford groceries. People still wouldn't be able to afford childcare. People would still be drowning in medical debt. People would still be drowning in college debt. But you have enough privilege where you could ignore it all if Kamala was in office.
Because it's class and not
Mm-hmm.
because it's the ruling class on both sides.
Yeah.
And I think the establishment.
And I guess
as
the
it were.
other candidate or the other Democrat that I think is voting for someone like Janet Mills is the person who they have in common with the Republican voter. Do you know the Republicans that are like, I voted for Donald Trump because he just like says it like it is?
Yes.
And I'm just like, what? That's what you care about when it comes to the most important person in the world? He's someone who says it like it is.
Yes, and I will, as per usual, defend that person because what they're responding to is authenticity. What they're responding to is it doesn't matter how much of an asshole you are, as long as you're authentically that asshole. And I think that whether we want to talk about the lingering effect of reality television on our psyche and what we think we need from people or what even authenticity is or feels like, whatever it is, there is a moment where people are just recognizing that what they get from this person, they're using the words tell it like it is, but it is this feeling that he really means it.
Yeah. Like he's angry
even
like
if it's
I'm
terrible.
Angry.
Yes, he's angry like I'm angry.
But I guess
yeah.
The flip side of that, like the Democratic version of that, is the person who will vote for someone like Janet Mills. They're like, oh my God, I love Janet Mills. You know her. She's like, I'll see you in court.
I loved her for that.
Me too, but it's not enough for me to vote for them.
I loved her for that as the governor of a state.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what we wanted. I wanted Massachusetts and California and New York. I wanted Hochul and Newsom and all of them to rally together and I wish they'd use a little bit the power of their purse. I'm still waiting for someone to explain to me why states that contribute so much to the federal government would continue to contribute so much to the federal government if the federal government's being like, yeah, we're not doing any of the things we said we would do with that money. Like I'm not, like
you're like a state like California is giving funds to the federal government that they're turning around and using to send untrained ex-Proud Boys to terrorize your citizens.
Yeah, I'll keep my money.
Yeah. And feed people. I don't know.
And that's crazy. That's the part that, I mean, I know that this is something that I'm sure most people consider. The continued irony of the way the religious right and the pro-abortion folks have managed to, repeal Roe, but are also choosing to not even feed the children we have now. Like that is the part where I'm just like, I am very pro women's reproductive rights. Obviously, I'm very pro everyone's right to bodily autonomy. Like that's my jam. It's your fucking body. Do with it what you will. You want to turn yourself into cat lady? By all means, turn yourself into cat lady. Right? Like that's your body to do with what you will. But if they would have come to me with a plan of like, hey, here's what we don't know about this abortion thing. Maybe it is a person. Like maybe so because of that, we're gonna have such a robust social services. We're gonna have food for everybody. We're gonna make sure that young mothers have all the prenatal care they need, and it's not gonna cost them anything. Like if they really leaned into pro-life the way they say they are pro-life, I would be willing to consider this. I would be willing to say, all right, we need to look at how we're approaching this, et cetera, et cetera. But they just are such fucking hypocrites that how do you take it seriously? How can you even as someone who is, I always think about all the time. And I thought about it when last night I was at the Abortion Access Front fundraiser, which We'll get to that in a second. But I went to school with a woman now named Melanie Merrill, and she's a doctor. She's a dentist. And I remember Melanie and her mother being very devout Catholics. When I went to a private school, Catholic Jesuit, so I was steeped in pro-life, right? That was something that was, and I remember them being so genuinely, truthfully concerned for babies being murdered. But they followed that concern with real action in their day-to-day life of how they helped the homeless and how they were very pious people. They were very charitable people, very people who lived that word. And for them, I could be like, yes, please, that is not only is that your true belief, those are you follow up with actions in all of those beliefs, right? But what we currently have is just a bunch of fucking assholes trying to control bodies. And again, that's not conservatism.
Yeah, it's like there's so many basically it comes down to my idea of what it's all for is for the birth rate to increase. But if you want the birth rate to increase, rather than forcing preteens to have their rapist babies, maybe make it easier to have a baby. Provide better prenatal care, provide better early childhood education, early childhood care.
Maternal leave, paternal
leave, like all of those things. Make it more make it more palatable to have a baby. I'm watching my sister who has a just shy of a 3-year-old right now, and her childcare is more than her mortgage.
It's insane how much childcare is. And honestly,
she only has to do it 3 days a week because my mother, luckily we're privileged enough that my mother has the time, the capacity to watch him 2 days a week.
No, we're not creating a society that is family first as much as they just repeatedly repeat. They think if they just keep saying it's going to make it true. But families can't afford housing, families can't afford food. And these are working class families. These are not like the poorest of the poor. Our society is crumbling, America. But on that note, I would like to say that I am rejuvenated in my feminazi ways, in my lesbianism, because have you heard of Abortion Access Front?
I have.
Okay. So for folks who don't know, it was founded by Liz Winstead, and Liz Winstead is a comedian turned not-for-profit organizer, founder, but she was the co-creator of The Daily Show with Jon Stewart way back in the day, and actually had a very unceremonious breakup from that organization after Craig Kilborn said some very shitty things about her publicly. She then went on to found Air America Radio and hired Rachel Maddow as one of her first co-hosts, right? So like someone who has been at the cutting edge of left media, I would say, progressive media, and then started Lady Parts Justice League, which was a touring group of comedians who would go town to town in the Deep South and provide material, emotional, financial support to clinics doing the work, right? So what they found was when they were on the road, a lot of clinics in particularly southern or rural areas, there's the running of the clinic itself, the duties and the care and the birth control and the abortion and what's the right word for that? Sorry.
Reproductive care?
Yeah, reproductive care is the right word. And then actually rebranded it from Lady Parts Justice League to Abortion Access Front because obviously there are people who do not identify as lady parts who have babies, right? So now to make it more inclusive. So just really kind of at the forefront. And they had a huge fundraiser in New York City last night that I was so lucky to be a part of. And KT and I went, and we volunteer anytime they have a big event that we can get to. If that's not the queerest thing, right? Katie and I were joking. We're like, let's have a date night in New York City. What are you guys going to do? Oh, we're going to volunteer at an abortion fundraiser.
Hell yeah.
But we had a great time, and Dolores was there, Real Housewife.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Dolores was there, and then so was Mindy Cohen, who I adore. Who I embarrass myself in front of. I always get too nervous in front of former Facts of Life stars. I didn't mean to. I walked into the bathroom.
It's the burden you bear.
It really is. Like there's never been and I've met a lot of people who I consider like to be my heroes, and I've worked with some of them, and like I'm not somebody who's like, oh my God, that's a celebrity, right? So last night I go into the bathroom, the women's bathroom at Sony Hall, very nice place. And I see Dolores. Now, my friend Andy knows Dolores somehow because he's a housewives whore. And he's like, if you see Dolores, tell her Andy says hi. And I was like, okay. And so I accidentally run into Dolores, and I'm like, hi, Dolores. I was like, I'm Andy's friend. And she's like, oh my God, he just texted me that you might say hi. Hug.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it was really cute. But then I turned to my left, and she's in there with Mindy Cohen. And I like go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh fuck, like that was Mindy Cohen. Like all I could think about was like, I can't acknowledge Dolores and not acknowledge Mindy Cohen, right? Like this is
you've already
legend.
proven you're in with the
somebody
celebs.
knows somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I turned back around. I was like, oh my God, Mindy, so great to meet you. Big fan. Went to shake her hand and she like just washed her hand. She's like, yeah, just wash my hands. I like turned around and walked. Sorry, that was my water bottle. And I was like, damn.
You're like, okay.
So I blew it again. But I had a great time. I was in charge of social media photos. So I got to just walk around taking pictures of everybody.
Perfect.
And then just upload them to a drive and they do all that stuff, which is fantastic. But if you haven't heard of Abortion Access Front, you should definitely find them, particularly if you are a person who might need or any sort of reproductive care, or also just need to feel like there are sane people out there doing work on behalf of people who need reproductive care. They use a lot of humor. The gala last night was called the Golden Probes, and it is a mock award show. The first one they did was in 2018, and it is a mock award show. So like basically not just elected officials, but people who have publicly said some of the dumbest shit possible get nominated for their Golden Probe, right? So that's what it was. There was a lot of RFK quotes. There was a lot of just like really dumb senators saying ridiculous things about abortion, winning awards, and then there were Lifetime Achievement Awards. And the Lifetime Achievement Awards, the big award was E. Jean Carroll. So E. Jean Carroll was there last night. Are you familiar?
Yeah, she sued Donald Trump, right?
Boom. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and won.
Yes.
And won.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So anyway, 3 cheers for feminazis, as we were all, I don't know, just having a really great time being in community with people who are in the trenches doing the work, supporting other people who are doing the work, and to be surrounded by people who believe that people should have the healthcare they need.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels nice.
Yeah.
There's also a podcast called Feminist Buzzkill. So if you're into, they produce that as well. But go to Abortion Access Front, check out their work, because humor is a very powerful tool, and they use it really well on behalf of this cause.
Speaking of queer women doing really cool things and supporting really awesome things, did you see Billie Eilish at that fundraiser this past week?
Did I ever? Big fan.
Yeah.
More of this. More of truth to power. And how old is Billie Eilish? Like 23?
Yeah. So this past week, Billie Eilish was at the Wall Street Journal Magazine Innovator Awards, and she was presented with the Music Innovator Award. And during her acceptance speech, she announced that she would donate $11.5 million of her tour proceeds from her Hit Me Hard and Soft tour, which happened this past year. The donation is earmarked for organizations, projects, and voices in the fields of food equity, which comes at a really important time right now when SNAP funds aren't being relegated out to people because of the government shutdown. But
And even if they are going to be sent out, it's going to be like 50%. Of what they would normally get. Anyway, sorry. I just want to like put that out there because I think there's a lot of talk right now. People are like, oh, it's fixed. Don't worry about it. And it's actually not fixed. It's just a Band-Aid, etc.
Yeah. But what's really impressive is that this $11 million is about 25% of her net worth. She's worth about $50 million and is giving out basically a quarter of her net worth, which is kind of insane. And I would love to see other people give away a quarter of their net worth.
I don't think it's insane. I think that's reasonable. I think that makes sense. I think that particularly for someone who's, I don't want to say at the beginning of their money making, but this is a young person here, right?
Yeah.
So like while she does have a long time to live and to live off of her money, she also will probably be making royalties for a while if she never did anything else again, right?
Right.
And when she's old, she can tour the casinos just like Santana.
Yeah. She also kind of called out the other billionaires in the room. One of them, which is Mark Zuckerberg, who happened to be in the room. And what she said was, we're in a time right now where the world is really, really bad and really dark, and people need empathy and help more than ever, especially in our country. I'd say if you have money, it would be great to use it for good things. Maybe give it to some people that need it. Love you all, but there's a few people in here who have a lot more money than me. If you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire? No hate, but give away your money, shorties.
It was, if you're, and like, did you watch the clip? That moment where you could tell she was afraid, but said it anyway.
Yeah, you
Where
could
she
tell
was
she was
like, if
very
you're a billion,
reluctant.
right? Like, and that's again, we raise good kids over here on the left. That's a good kid who's like doesn't want to be disrespectful to the people. But first of all, can I wait? Why is the Wall Street Journal doing a music innovator award anyway? First of all, like
Right.
like that's I obviously don't read a lot of the Wall Street Journal, but when I read that, I was like, what the? No, like, do Wall Street. Like, who's there? Don't do music. But you could definitely see in her speech that she was, if you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire? Right? Like,
Right.
just really trying to be like, what are you doing that for? It's too much. And she followed it up with actions. And we love that. I haven't heard a peep from Mark Zuckerberg being like, you know what? I'm going to match that 11 million. Nope.
Which would be like you flipping a nickel, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is worth about $255 billion. He could give away 99% of his net worth and still never have to worry about money for the next 3 to 5 generations of his family.
I mean, we say that, but we don't know how they spend money in that family. I mean,
when you're
that's
buying mega yachts every 2 years.
Yeah, you get used to a lifestyle. I remember I got a pay raise one time.
Oh,
You know, when you
yeah.
get a raise and then you're like, I'm still rich. I'm rich now. Or no, I'm still rich. I'm rich now.
Right. I better spend it.
Yeah, better get this out of my pocket.
Yeah, but I think I've praised Billie Eilish before for her environmental takes. So I'm really excited to see. And that's the most important quote to me out of this is if you're a billionaire, why?
Why are you a billionaire?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this room with more money than I have, and you should probably give some of it away. Look, I'll show you how. This is how you do it. I'm going to give some to people who need it. I'm still going to have everything I need, yet somehow other people are going to have some of the things they need too. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, someone like Mark Zuckerberg could literally make food free in this country. All food free.
All food. Didn't Jaden Smith do that?
I'm not sure.
Jaden Smith and I know you say what you will about the Smith family. I know. But Jaden Smith started with a food truck where he would, no press, would just go and feed the homeless folks in California. And then
Amazing.
that grew into a restaurant where you pay what you can. And if you can afford to pay for the full plate, you pay for the full plate. And if you can't, you don't get a bill. It's basically just really trying to see if mutual aid would work in a real world scenario. And apparently it's been wildly successful. Let me find the name of it real quick. Yeah, it's called the I Love You restaurant.
Cute.
And it's a free restaurant. So and also just the idea that, you know, opening something that is a restaurant and is not a food pantry, right? And opening something that gives someone who is having housing insecurity the ability to walk into a restaurant and have that experience, right? Like that thing that makes you part of society. So much of our culture is like, let's go out to dinner, let's go, you know, and to be able to be, and it's all vegan, I think too. I think it's all like plant-based and environmentally responsible stuff, and has been doing it for a while now. For a few years. So I guess the kids are going to be okay, even the Nepo kids.
I've seen a lot of kind of feel-good videos like I saw a video of this gentleman who started a food pantry out of his own home with a group of his friends. And the video was about because someone left him a note in his mailbox saying like, this work is so important. Please continue this as long as you can, with a stack of $100 bills, like just anonymously, which is very cool. But a lot of the comments were like, see, we don't need the government. We can take care of each other. But like the government is supposed to be us.
Ooh,
like,
what a hot take, Harrison.
To be this separate thing.
It's supposed to be representative of the people.
Yeah, and if the people want there to be charity and people to be taken care of, we can make the government do that.
I wonder, you know, there's definitely parts of me that are like, you know, just like how much the middle class is hammered with taxes and like 22% and 24% and this idea of like, all right, well, if someone pays, you know, $3,000 a month in taxes, what if they didn't do that, but they pledged $1,000 a month to feeding people in their community, right? Where like,
can't you do that with like tax write-offs and stuff?
You can, I guess you can, but you have to have that money to do it, right? Because you have to pay your taxes no matter what. It's going to come out of your paycheck, right? So you won't have the extra once they already take it out. most people wouldn't. I wouldn't have an extra $1,000
Right.
in my month-to-month income if 3,000 is already taken out, right? So what I'm saying is, don't give it there, and then just give it. Like, let us cut out the middle. If
Wouldn't
the
it be nice
middleman is
to
the
know
government,
that the government is using our tax dollars to do positive things rather than
bums.
Yeah, literally. Like, wouldn't it be great to not have to be like, well, I want to use the money I would pay for taxes to give to charities that I want to do, rather than I want my taxes to go to the government because the government is doing such amazing things and making people's lives easier.
Yeah.
Vote for Zoran, you know?
I will say that as somebody who this does not affect at all, I am, and I know this is that he has a good media campaign, and I know that he just has a really smart team around him that has figured out how to media specifically to people like me, and I'm on board. But I do feel like not since the presidential election have I been this interested. Not since probably 2016, to be honest, have I
Right.
been this interested in how this is going to go
Yeah.
for something that
But
won't affect me at all.
I
in the
feel like
immediate.
it's right. I feel like it's a testament to like when they asked Andrew Cuomo why he lost in the first mayoral debate, he said it was like, "Oh, I didn't do enough TikTok." And if he thinks like I feel like he's kind of a representative of the Democratic establishment, and if he thinks that he lost because he didn't make enough TikToks, that is there is it plain as day why the Democratic Party loses so much. He thinks that Zoran Mondani because he made TikToks, and not for the fact that he is proposing radical ideas that will make people's lives better.
I would love to see somebody do a spoof, a satire, a mockumentary of Andrew Cuomo being good at TikTok, but like what those talking points would be, right?
Well,
Where
yeah, he tried to make TikToks after he lost. Like recently, he's been making TikToks, but he can't make any in the real world because if he's on the street trying to make a TikTok with someone, people walk by and
call him an
shout at
asshole.
him. Yeah, call him an asshole, call him a sexual predator.
He's just a paisano. What do you mean? It's his culture.
Yeah.
He can't help it. Oh, Kit Kat the bodega cat.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I'm becoming a part of the San Francisco community very quickly because I
Good.
cried while watching a TikTok about Kit Kat, the bodega cat. So Kit Kat is a bodega cat at a market called Randus Market, which is in the Mission District of San Francisco. And this past week, he sadly died when he was struck by a Waymo. Yeah. So Waymos they're still in the testing phase, and they are self-driving cars, and they're basically trying to automate the taxi industry. You can just call a self-driving car, they'll come pick you up, and you don't have to worry about people or a driver having to go to the bathroom, things like that.
A robot killed a bodega cat. A beloved bodega cat.
Beloved bodega cat. There is a huge memorial shrine to Kit Kat the bodega cat outside Randus Market in San Francisco. And it's bringing up a lot of questions around automation, self-driving cars, and the safety of it. The CEO of Waymo is on record a few months ago as saying, like, he was asked basically, what happens if a Waymo kills a person? And his response was, oh, people will get used to that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Was it at least like cushioned with, well, people die in car accidents every day?
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
And we know that in the long run, there'll be less deaths caused by autonomous cars than there were by the Waymo statement said, we reviewed this, and while our vehicle was stopped to pick up passengers, a nearby cat darted under our vehicle as it was pulling away. We send our deepest sympathies to the cat's owner and the community who knew and loved him, and we'll be making a donation to a local animal rights organization in his honor. Now, could that have happened to any car?
Mm-hmm.
Do we believe that's how it went down?
No.
I don't either.
But it's also like,
show me the footage. Give me the body cam footage. Give me the surveillance footage. Let me see these people get into this car, because that's not what I think happened.
And I also I want to be confident of these self-driving cars having the technological ability to not hit something if it darts in front of them, because bikers dart in front of cars, pedestrians dart in front of cars, cats dart in front of cars, you know?
That's not the right comparison. Because what they're saying is the cat didn't dart in front of the car. They're saying the cat went between the tires, under the car. So I'm assuming there's a camera in the front of the car. There's a camera in the back of the car. But that space between the front and back tires. I think they're saying that the cat darted under that way, and so then when it rolled out the back wheels, which not saying it shouldn't be monitored, it should be monitored, but I just they love to pick us apart, so we have to be factually correct here.
I mean, it could have been a toddler. It could have been.
That was what I was
Scary.
thinking. Was that that feels to me like something where a ball rolls under a car, and so a small child goes to try to get it, and then the car takes off.
Yeah.
So hopefully, number one, R.I.P. Kit Kat. But hopefully that, thanks to Kit Kat, Waymo will enhance their side security on their self-driving vehicles.
Yeah, totally.
I still don't think I'm not a good passenger when there's a person I trust driving.
Let alone nothing.
Let alone nothing. I'm just not. I feel like before I could trust a self-driving car, I have to be at a point in my own evolution where I don't set 14 alarms on my iPhone because I'm not convinced that one of them's going to go off. Right?
Totally.
Like, I don't trust technology that much.
Right.
So I'm probably not going to be an early adapter.
I hear ya. No, me either. Definitely not.
Did we do it?
I think we did. Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
so excited. When this comes out, we'll know who the results of these elections may be, hopefully. And I hope there's much to celebrate.
I think there's going to be a lot to celebrate. I'm excited to hear about what happens in California. I'm excited to hear about what happens in New York. Nothing's happened in Massachusetts, so that's chill. Is
Yeah,
Maine,
there's also, like,
is Maine Tuesday as well?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But there's also a really important Senate race in New Jersey. I mean, not Senate race, gubernatorial.
Also, just a side note, Nicki Minaj. Has Nicki ever been for the gays? I don't know enough about pop music.
Oh, yeah.
So we should mourn the loss of Nicki then, as a queer Times
Nicki
podcast.
Minaj started doing really bad things because she's a celebrity and you're in an echo chamber and you have people around you telling you everything you say is right. And she said some of those things on the internet and people turned against her. And like other bad people, the second people kind of turn against you and cancel you, they go, well, I'm going to be the most cancelable now. And that's kind of what I feel like she's doing.
Okay, I just wanted to send my condolences to all those fans out there who were Nicki fans who now have to not be a Nicki fan because she leaned into her Trumpism so hard.
Yeah, burn your Nicki flags.
Burn your Nicki flags. All right, well, Harrison, I had a great time talking to you, per always.
Me too.
And I look forward to what happens today, at the end of today. So when this comes out tomorrow, you're going to be like, oh, the election already happened. But sorry, our podcast comes out on Wednesdays. I don't know what to tell you. All right, well, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you
Thanks,
too. I'll talk to you soon.
Subscribe. Wait, what about all these people?
Oh,
We
yeah.
got to tell them, like, subscribe.
Rate, review, and subscribe.
Rate, review. Please tell your friends.
Yeah.
We kind of plateaued right now. We need some people to listen to the podcast and tell their friends about the podcast.
Support us by sharing.
Support us by sharing.
Sharing is caring.
All right. Love you.
Okay. Queerly. We'll see you next
bye.
week. Bye.
Bye. Queer is in.